Hi everyone. I hope everyone is having a good week thus far. I just wanted to point out some things that I'm seeing as I'm great. People are turning in the formal paper part one on value-based purchasing so far. Some common things I'm seeing is when you guys write your paper. What I have in front of me is I have Yes, this is the rationale behind the assignment. And then we have here the title page, the format, and then body of paper. I make sure a lot of people break these down into level one headings, which is a great thing for me, a great thing for me because it helps me follow your paper and it all makes sense in that order. So I recommend that you do your body of your paper. Go ahead and make level one headings with phrases of what is going to be covered in each section of these. Because when I grade each section, I'm constantly thinking to myself, like for one, define and describe what value-based purchasing is. I'm constantly thinking that in my mind, so when I read, I'm making sure that you cover that in a paragraph or two, or a lot of you are writing a little bit longer paragraphs. Some are breaking it into two. That's fine. Whatever you choose to do is fine. Also, evaluate and explain in writing the role of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services (CMS) plays in value-based purchasing. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, are they evaluating and explaining the roles CMS has in reference to uh, in I'm sorry, let me rewind that. Are they evaluating and explaining the roles that CMS services plays in value-based purchasing? So I'm asking myself, is the student doing this over and over? And I'm watching you develop that topic. And then one more, I'm just for time. Define and describe the purpose of value-based purchasing. Again, you've got to define it and then describe it to me. So I'm thinking, okay, did they adequately define value-based purchasing? And then I'm also thinking, you know, what is the purpose of value-based purchasing? I think that to myself and I think, okay, are they doing that within their paper? So that being said, so if you break down each topic, that's how the format of your paper should flow. Granted, I would use level one headings for them because it helps me grade the paper much easier and it looks very professional from an academic perspective. All right, moving forward, when you develop the paper, and this video isn't for everybody, but if you are this student who is writing a paper and developing a paper, so you have the introductory paragraph, you're going to give me background information, and you're going to give me your thesis statement, and then the topics that you're going to cover, so all the topics listed within the rubric, the body of the paper. And then I'm going to expect to see the topics covered well. I can't, what I saw on a paper this evening when I graded it was you have to explain what you mean to your audience. Your audience is me. Do I understand exactly what you're saying throughout your paper? Most of the time I do, but honestly, sometimes I don't because uncommon phrases or terminology are used incorrectly within one of the papers I graded this evening. I graded 3 actually. So in other words, the terminology didn't make sense to me within the context of the paper. So make sure that when you write, you're explaining what you mean in detail. Okay, automatically you have to think to yourself, who's my audience? Well, for this type of paper, it could be someone in the School of Business. It could be someone in the School of Business who's majoring in management. It could be an allied health professional like a nurse, a respiratory therapist. It could be, a radiological technician. We have cardiovascular technician program. We have all these programs throughout the school. We also have the College of Professional Studies, which is what I teach for as well. I do the health professions and I do the College of Professional Studies. So you have to think, who is my audience? Yeah, Professor Seifert is my audience, but you need to explain things like you're writing a paper to the people I just mentioned, so your audience. So if you write something, you have to make sure that someone can comprehend it who is a potential audience. Always think of your audience. Who is my audience? And do I need to explain what I've written in my paper a little bit more in depth so that the concept is covered fully? So I just want to see, as you write your papers, as you turn them in, that you develop the concepts in a way that you explain it in clear detail. So yeah, I'm looking at APA formatting, but I'm really, with grammar, I use Grammarly, as you all know by now, so I can eliminate me picking through grammar. I'm focusing on content, especially on all papers, but especially these part 1, 2, and 3 papers, and then you put them all together and it's a final paper. So please, please, please make sure that you develop and completely explain all aspects of your paper and keep your audience in mind when you're doing so, and you will be fine. A lot of people are doing that, but for those of you who are not, I hope you watch my videos. I noticed that a lot of people don't watch my videos. I can tell because I do YouTube and I see the number of viewers, and sometimes it's not as many as I'd like. Unfortunately, if you don't listen to this, you're not going to get the information. And if you turn in a paper like that, your grade will be reflective of not completing the assignment completely. Also, you don't need a conclusion for this paper. I know I mentioned in a video earlier, I didn't penalize for those who did a conclusion. I did mention it in a video earlier, but I was referring to Essay 3, and I was also talking about this paper at the same time, so I may have been confusing. So I may have confused it for you. You don't need a conclusion in this paper. You will need a comprehensive conclusion when you turn in when you put all the pieces together and formally turn it in. Then you will need a comprehensive conclusion covering the entire paper. So I wish everyone a great week and happy writing of this paper to you. Good night.